Hi, it's Taylor T. Carlson, and I'm back with another video game review for you. I just did a review for the first Top Gun tie-in game for the NES, so today we're going to take a look at its sequel, the aptly titled Top Gun: The Second Mission. In my review for the first game, I was honestly a bit harsh on some aspects of the game, but how does the sequel fare? Is this a better game, or does it suffer from a lot of the same flaws? Like the first game, this one doesn't really have a whole lot of a plot, but there at least is a cutscene that has something of a basic plot involving the hero character Maverick going up against new villains. Obviously, they don't use the likeness of Tom Cruise, and he's wearing a helmet that covers his full face. For whatever reason, Tom Cruise is very religious about not using his likeness in video game adaptations of movies. It was the same deal with the game adaptation of Minority Report as well. But once you start the game and get to the title screen, you'll find there's a few different gameplay options. There's the standard one-player story mode, there's a one-player versus mode, there's a two-player versus mode, and then there's an options menu. When you start the game like normal in the traditional story mode, there's going to be 3 levels, but they're pretty long. You'll get your choice of missiles, and then you'll launch off from the aircraft carrier, fighting targets in the sea, in the air, and as the mission goes on, you'll have a lot of basic enemy encounters, plus enemies can lock their missiles onto you, so you gotta watch that radar, because it's certainly not there just for decoration. You'll have mini bosses throughout the game. Like in the first mission, you'll encounter some battleships you have to deal with, and then you'll have to do like one-on-one dogfights with certain enemies, and of course each level has a big boss at the end. In the case of level 1, it's a huge enemy bomber. You'll go through 3 levels, and again, they're pretty long and pretty challenging, and unlike the first game, you can actually earn extra lives if you get up to a certain point cap. There's also a code that enables you to get 3 additional lives if you reach that cap. I'll give you a hint. It's a Konami game. So do you have any idea what that code might be you're supposed to enter on the title screen? If you don't know, look it up online, and I'm sure it'll be pretty easy to find. Anyway, the one-player versus mode is just that. It pits you against other pilots. They all have suspiciously Russian-sounding names, which I guess kind of fits in with that whole Cold War era when the movie came out and when these games came out. And you can go through that mode, fight those individual pilots as you go up in rank each time. And you can even give the two-player versus mode a try, which is kind of similar, but again, you've got 2 people playing, so you get to shoot down your buddy. The mode is pretty primitive by today's standards, but back then, I definitely got a thrill out of this. Overall, how does Top Gun: The Second Mission measure up? I would say in most ways, this game is a step up from the first game. It does have some of the same problems, including difficulty in certain sections, and obviously you can't save your game or continue, but you'll definitely get more of a thrill out of this one than the first one. The gameplay is much faster. There's a lot more you can do. You can even do a roll move when you're going through the motions, and that can help you to shake your enemies and throw off their balance. And landing the plane was one of the biggest problems I had in the first Top Gun game. You still do have to land in this game, but they've actually made it a little easier. I'd say it's still a little more of a pain than it needs to be, but it's at least somewhat manageable in this game. I enjoyed the one-player versus mode, but a huge problem this versus mode has is that you actually still have to land the plane between each battle, which completely kills the momentum that a mode like this should have. And of course, like I said before, the two-player mode is kind of primitive, but it's still fun to try to be able to shoot down your buddy and have some competition. I know I had some fun with that one back in the day. And of course, like I said, you've got some options in that menu as well. I think by default, up moves your plane up, down moves your plane down, which is the opposite of the first game, but you can toggle a reverse option on, which will set the controls back so they're more like the first game. What do you think of Top Gun: The Second Mission? Is this an upgrade from the first game? Does it suffer from a lot of the same problems? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, like this video and feel free to subscribe to my channel. I'm Taylor T. Carlson, and I'll see you in my next video game review.